Story number 1. Please, I need advice, I'm desperate. 1 month before birth of her sister, which was this August, she started not listening to me. She has no sense of danger, especially when it came to cars. I would explain to her how dangerous cars are and we need to look both ways before crossing. She doesn't like holding my hand anywhere we go in public. She is rough with her baby sister even after I explain to her that she's fragile and I show her examples of how to touch her or play with her. After I tell her this, she almost always slaps her stomach or head or pulls on her hands and feet hard. She recently has been clapping her hands in front of her sister's face when she cries or she screams in her face. Yesterday I absolutely lost my patience with her when she touched her private part, and as soon as I was going to tell her to wash her hands, she puts her hand up her sister's nose. IDK if she's needing more attention and that's why she's being this way. I try my best to give her attention, but it's hard when my newborn is constantly breastfeeding. I do my best to take her on walks and go to the park. IDK if I should discipline her for these things or what. I try to explain to her and tell her not to do certain things, but she still does it. The last thing I want to do is scream and leave her traumatized. I'm finding myself super serious and annoyed, and I hate feeling this way. Please, any advice or resources to help me through this. Story number 2. So there's a possibility that the father could be this cop I had a fling with, or the guy threatening court who was also a fling. Ironically, the man who isn't the cop is actually a felon. After I found out I was pregnant, I was more actively speaking with and seeing the felon. I was unaware of his felony charge or his son, of which he currently has no custody rights. About 3 weeks into knowing I was pregnant, he told me everything: the felony charge, the year spent in rehab, and that he has a son and whose family and mother are the ones with rights to him because of how he endangered his son. The felon said that my baby is his redo since he screwed things up with his son. The cop blocked me and wanted nothing to do with me after I told him I'll need a paternity test, obviously, and they both know I was seeing someone else around the same time, just casually, wasn't committed to either of them, and same with them. But now the felon, who has no rights to his current child, is threatening court for custody and visitation once my baby is born in January. I have proof of engagement in text and proof that he violated probation. The courts will also see he doesn't have custody rights to his son for drug abuse and endangerment in the past, but he recently got arrested, got bailed out by his Church of Christ cult rehab, and is now demanding rights if he's the father. Obviously I am not comfortable letting that menace care for my baby. Would the court grant him rights to one kid and not the other? Has anyone dealt with this? I don't care that he's been sober 60 days. He admitted to some terrible things regarding his son. I will never feel safe with him being alone with my baby. What can I do here? Does he have a legitimate case, or do you think I'd get to keep sole rights? The most I'd be comfortable with is supervised visitation. Story number 3. This is my co-parenting rant only because legit I don't think anyone understands what I'm going through. I feel like everyone is moving on with their lives, whether it's a new relationship, rekindling an old one, or talking about marriage, and I'm just here stuck, co-parenting on an inconsistent schedule, receiving help sometimes with low LOL, and can't even get my dating life on track for some stupid reason. I feel so tied to my ex that's not even really my ex. He has me in a financial bind helping him get his stupid life together. He's used me to borrow money, has me on a small payment plan for him because he blames me for his life not being together at 35. It's all to keep me tethered to him, y'all. It's driving me nuts. I am dating someone though, luckily, but I have to create boundaries with my ex for a healthy relationship. I don't know what to do. I'm tearing up writing this, I really am. What sucks the most is that I don't know if my new guy is even a good choice or just a choice to get me the hell away from this situation. Story number 4. I am a 40-year-old single mom, a W, an almost 10-month-old baby girl. I have her 100% of the time. Her father left me at hospital to go home right after we had checked in for me to have her. He has never been around her since she was born. My twin sis and bro-in-law took my daughter and I in, which was so nice, till about when my daughter was 6 months old. We now stay at my mom's. Anyways, I noticed a cute guy at my work, newer employee, and found out he was a single dad. I got up the courage to ask him for his number and we started to talk early on in summertime. Nothing came of it at that time until the new school year started. We work for county public schools in diff departments. He one day was deaf flirting me in front of my co-workers, so we talked and finally hung out on a date out our kids. He has sole legal and physical custody of his son, whom is turning 12 in like 2 weeks. It's been about a month. Like next WK. I told him I did not want to have sex for a bit and he respected that. We have fooled around a little bit but nothing much else. We have stayed at his place a few times and since then I have seen a dramatic drop in communication. Please no judgment. Single parent dating is much different of course, and I don't expect for us to TXT all day long cause we don't normally. But like I'm gonna see how he acts over next few days and then IDK if he like isn't really talking anymore. Speak up right and say like, hey, what's going on? Story number 5. My son is turning 2 in November and he's been in a learning for about 4 months. When I started taking him to the center he cried for about a week and a half and then he stopped. Recently he started with the crying and tantrums at drop-offs. That's also my concern. Also, his teacher has been claiming that my son keeps throwing toys and he's not listening to her, which my son does throw toys and he's a very selective listener. LOL. I'm at a loss with this situation. I'm so tired of hearing these bad reports. He's still very new and I'm trying to work with him on the throwing and listening. I feel so bad for him. BC, he's only a toddler. Everything is my fault. I feel guilty. Maybe if his other parent was around it'd be easier? I'm not sure. I wish I would have put him in earlier. I feel like I'm the only parent that's getting these bad reports. If anyone has any advice, please share.